All right. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a little day stream here on a Saturday. Got about probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half here for a little stream, and then I'll be going off and making my children dinner and all that stuff, getting them ready for bed, and then I have some video. I got at least one video I got to get out tonight. We got Prime Answers coming out tonight, so I have to wrap that video up and get that all ready for you guys. First, I'm going to give a shout out to everyone who's here in the stream to start. Joy-Con Nation, Matt Gales, Nintendorak, Yamato, Terex Zero, Chelsea, Raiku-chan, let's see here, M the Moon, excuse me, One White Kong. I'm just scrolling down here. Zane Parker's here. Reg Chaos 173, I think I saw for a second. 8-Bit Eric is here. Brandon Emerson, John Early, Demon Rage 90. And let me just double check over on Twitch. No one chatting on Twitch, although we have a couple people watching. So those that are watching on Twitch, thank you so much for tuning in. We got about 31. I don't know. One screen says 34, the other screen says 31. Whatever. That's going to fluctuate. Fool of a Took is here. Uwa Nuna is here. GamerPon is here as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We also have Anatula Zena here, who's tuning in from Germany. Wow, I didn't even know we had any fans in Germany. So thank you so much for tuning in. Kind of just shows you this is the internet. We're worldwide. Even though I'm based in the United States, that doesn't mean we don't have fans worldwide. So thank you so much for tuning in. Chicken Parm is here too, as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. So we're just here to have some chat. We got a few things, I guess, to talk about. First, I want to talk about Wii U ports and AAA third-party games on Switch. It's been kind of interesting over the past couple of weeks as I've been tuning into a bunch of various YouTubers out there, just watching their content and seeing what conversations they've been coming up with during a period when news is kind of dried up a little bit. Right now, it feels like we're in a calm before the storm. Okay, I think a Nintendo Direct is on the horizon. Like, if it's not this next week, it doesn't matter. It'll be sometime in February. I think Nintendo news is kind of going a bit quiet right now until that Direct, because everything's kind of waiting for that big Direct to land before the floodgate of news opens up for the rest of this year. So a lot of YouTubers are having to talk about other things. And obviously, we had the Metroid Prime 4 news yesterday. We're not here to talk about that today. But in general, news is kind of dried up, so then, that leaves channels to come up with unique conversation points. And one point I've actually seen brought up is some people are actually tired of the Wii U ports on Switch. And I guess, in general, the people that are tired of the Wii U ports on Switch are the ones that played the games originally on Wii U, because logically, if you played all those games on Wii U, like I did, they aren't new games. And as such, they're filling in these gaps for releases on Switch, especially last year, that don't mean anything to people who already played those games. Obviously, maybe the most well-known Nintendo-specific YouTuber to chime up about this lately has been Josh Thomas from the BitBlock. He has been very outspoken about how against the Wii U ports he is and how he wishes they wouldn't be around. And his number one argument that really reaches across all barriers is that it does take some manpower to port a game to Switch, even if it's an easy port, and that manpower could be assigned to other teams to help get games out faster. And it's an interesting point that's really hard to refute, because this requires that you actually know how the ports are happening, who's doing it, who Nintendo's paying to do it, and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that I can't really talk about or refute in that regard, because I just don't know, and I don't think anybody does. I think it's just a lot of guesswork at how these ports are happening. What I will say, however, is I like Wii U ports, and I'm someone who played every single Wii U game. I mean, heck, I got one of the Wii U ports right here, right in front of me, right here, Captain Toad. Love this game. I could not be happier that this game got a second life on Nintendo Switch, and I think that's maybe kind of where I differ from someone like Josh Thomas, in that I think Wii U ports on Switch are ultimately a good thing. I really enjoyed Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. it would have been a shame if Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze never came off a Switch, or no, I'm sorry, never came off a Wii U and just stayed there. That would be such a shame to what I feel is one of the best 2D side-scrolling platformers ever made. I mean, it's up there in the upper echelons of 2D side-scrolling platformers. You want to argue Celeste is better? Fine, argue Celeste is better. It doesn't matter. The point is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is up there. And if that game was stuck on Wii U, that would be such a shame. Yes, I got to fully enjoy it, but I want other people to really enjoy that as well. And I know the logic is, well, if they wanted to enjoy it, they should have bought a Wii U. I don't think a majority of the people interested in playing games honestly knew what a Wii U was for the entire 4.5 years it was on the market. And that's Nintendo's problem. That's their fault. That being said, I'm really happy a lot of these games are coming out. Now, do I want Wii U ports instead of new games? No. And I understand why some people thought in 2019, or I should say 2018, that we seem to get more Wii U ports to fill in gaps rather than new games. And I get it. I understand the complaints. But honestly, the Wii U ports are going to dry up eventually. There's still a lot more Wii U ports to come, by the way. We still don't have Pikmin 3. I mean, that's really a big one that I think is going to come. Mario Maker or a sequel to Mario Maker. One of those two things I think is going to happen. Obviously, the best Mario game on the platform, Super Mario 3D World, is still stuck on Wii U, and a lot of people didn't get to play that. There's just so many great games. I mean, yeah, we got the Bayonetta over. What about the Wonderful 101, a game that was basically sent out to die on Wii U? I would love to see the Wonderful 101, created by Platinum Games and published by Nintendo, actually come to Switch. The reason that I think I feel this way about Wii U ports in particular is because I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, and maybe I'm wrong about this. I feel like I'm a little unselfish as a gamer. To not want Wii U ports on Switch, to me, means for you personally, it doesn't mean, like for me personally, right? Like none of these games, Mario Kart 8, all, Hyrule Warriors, etc., all these games that came over, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, they aren't new games for me, and I don't really plan to play them. Like the only reason I own Captain Toad is I got it for free. And I shouldn't say I got it for free. It was a buy two, get one free deal at GameStop on their used games. So I bought 2 used games, and this was the one they rung up as free. Could have said I paid for this one and got a different game free. Whatever. Point is that, I took advantage of a deal, and I picked up Captain Toad Treasure Tracker because I knew my kids would really enjoy it. And lo and behold, my 5-year-old son loves Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So I was obviously right on that front. So I think it's just been a very interesting thing to think about these Wii U ports and the entire situation revolving around them, because while they're not new games for me, I bought that so my son could play it. Yeah, I could have got it for his 2DS. Of course, he has a 2DS. I know Captain Toad came to 2DS, but why buy it for that when he could play, a better version of it on Switch? Technically, the best version's on Wii U, but I don't own a Wii U. So I think that Wii U ports and my lack of selfishness over them is that I enjoyed all of these games on Wii U so much, I want the world to enjoy them. So there's 30 plus million people that own a Switch. Get these games on this platform, so all of those 30 million people, at least 15 plus million of them that didn't own a Wii U, can actually play them. So yeah, I honestly think that it's a totally positive thing that we get Wii U ports, even a lot of them. Heck, bring more. Heck, slam me with Wii U ports this year. I want 12 Wii U ports this year. Just do it. Just do it. Bring over the original version of Zombie U and somehow make it work. I know they actually already ported that over to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so that's the version we would probably get. But whatever. The point is, port it all over. I want all of them. Thank you to WitchPlayCat Necro for subscribing. So that's kind of my thing. Yeah, I'm not interested in buying these games. I haven't bought a vast majority of the Wii U ports because I have played and beat them all on Wii U. But I do care about the whole of gaming, and I care about the crowd on Switch that never got their chance to play this on a platform that they actually wanted to own. Bottom line is, there's a lot of great games on Wii U that just sat on a platform people either didn't know about, people misunderstood, or people just didn't want to pay the money to buy what felt like a last generation platform. Reality is Nintendo screwed up with Wii U, and they didn't with Switch. And so now is the time to bring out all of those great titles, bring them back, not Paper Mario Color Splash, that could stay at Wii U, but bring back all the actual good ones and let people play them. Heck, bring over Color Splash as well. Why not? It wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm sure some people liked it. Like if you liked Paper Mario Sticker Star or whatever, you'll probably like Color Splash, to be fair. So whatever, like bring it all over. It's fine. I don't see a problem with it. So before I move on to talking about the AAA stuff on third parties, I guess I'll respond to some people, such as the BitBlock, who I mentioned by name. What's going on, Joshy Thomas? Cheers, man. I think this would actually make a really cool debate video for you and me to make about Wii U ports, since I know you were on the complete opposite side of me. When you say 12 Wii U ports would mean 0 new games, I mean, no, it wouldn't. We already know about new games we're getting this year. So we got a Wii U port, obviously, but we know we're getting Yoshi. We know we're getting Daemon X Machina. We know we're getting Animal Crossing, unless it's delayed, of course. That's always a possibility. We're getting a new generation of Pokemon, which hardly ever gets delayed, so that's going to land this year. And I know you might, if I remember right, you don't really care too much about Pokemon, but whatever. It's a thing that's existing that happens this year on Switch. We know about Luigi's Mansion 3, assuming, again, no delay. The reason I'm saying that is because we haven't really seen the game. I mean, we saw that little snippet of it last year, but I don't really know that that was too telling about anything other than the fact the game just exists. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4 is delayed for infinitely. We'll get that when we get it, but I don't think that was slated for this year anyways. It definitely didn't have 2019 listed next to it. They never said it was coming this year. That was a fan desire rather than a want. Just like Bayonetta 3, I don't think is coming this year either. But yeah, there's a bunch of games coming this year to Switch that the Wii U ports aren't replacing them. But that's just that's obviously just my take. Let me see what you guys are thinking or talking about here. I'm just scrolling back up the chat a little bit just to see what people are saying. Zane Parker wants to know why I upload the streams to YouTube after they're streamed. Usually my day streams I do, so this stream will be. Just so people know, this is a day stream. We don't allow swearing or any of that stuff in our day streams. So if our mods are around, like you catch people swearing, be sure to hide those comments because children might be watching, including my own child. I think he's actually watching the live stream on his tablet right now. So remember to keep it a little family friendly today. Let me scroll down here. GamerPon says he agrees with me. Sonic. Oh, there won't be Sonic Lost World for the. Oh, dude, Sonic Lost World. That's another one that needs to come to Switch. That's a game I really hope doesn't get buried on Wii U and a bunch of people don't get to play. Raikou Chan says I have no issues with ports other than pricing. Now that is something I do agree with. I think pricing, charging full price for essentially the same game is something that I wish they wouldn't do. But then again, think about the logic I argue. I argue they should bring over the Wii U port for the 15+ million people on Switch minimum that didn't own a Wii U. Well, for them, they're new games. So that's why Nintendo's getting away with the pricing, because for all those people, they might not even be aware of their Wii U ports. Nintendo themselves doesn't even advertise them as ports. Did you actually, if you actually pay attention to how Nintendo advertises them, they treat them like they're new games in advertising. Why? Because they know a vast majority of the Nintendo Switch audience doesn't even know what a Wii U is. So that's why they're getting away with it. It's kind of scummy, but they are a for-profit business, and I understand why they're doing it, and they're getting away with it. And so I could keep telling them not to do it, but they're going to keep doing it. So what are you going to do? I disagree with the pricing as well. I think they should have came out as $40 games, but maybe Nintendo would have been afraid of all those people that think they're brand new, regardless of what Nintendo says, would start expecting all of the actual new games, like Luigi's Mansion 3, to also be $40. So I don't know. Nintendo's kind of stuck in a situation where they're just going to maximize profits and not create confusion, I guess, in the marketplace. It's not confusion for me because I know they're Wii U ports, but a lot of people might not know that not just because of how Nintendo marketed it, but because they might not even know the Wii U existed or that it was a system. Some people might just think it was a tablet for the Wii, which I know my mom, still to this day, despite me telling her that it's a separate system, still believes the Wii U was just a tablet for Wii. So, let me see here. I usually think he has an anti-Nintendo bias, but he makes a point. Nintendo has so many studios. Why aren't they filling those gaps with new releases? I mean, there's a bunch of new games coming this year. Nintendo has had more exclusives. This is actually a fun fact. I don't know how many people pay attention. There's been more exclusives, like brand new exclusive games released for Switch in the first year and a half of this platform's life cycle than Nintendo has released in the history of any platform they've ever released. This includes Wii, DS, NES, Game Boy. If you go back and look at the number of Nintendo published exclusive games in the first year and a half of a platform's life, we've actually gotten more of them on Switch than we've ever gotten before. Now, we can argue about the quality. You could say Mario Tennis Aces wasn't good enough for you, Super Mario Party wasn't good enough, Kirby wasn't good, whatever. We can argue about the quality of the games they brought. But they've definitely upped their production level on Switch. We actually are getting more games on Switch. It just doesn't feel like it because last year they basically didn't have a single system-selling game until the end of the year, when 2017 had a whole bunch of them. So it's kind of like 2017, they packed all these system-moving games, and then in 2018, we had to wait almost a year for a system-moving game. But there still were games. And like Labo might not be your thing, but that was a thing Nintendo also put years of development into as well. So it's Nintendo's still making things at a very high pace. It's just whether or not you actually like what they're making is a totally different subjective story. Let me scroll on down here. My kids, by the way, loved last year more than I did. They played a lot of Mario Tennis. They played a lot of Mario Party. They played a ton of Kirby. I think Kirby might be one of, all three of my kids, one of their favorite games of last year. And it's like, okay, it wasn't for me, but man, my kids love it. So who am I to like get mad that the game might not have been my cup of tea, but my kids love it. Like, whatever. Like, everyone has their different. Obviously, kids don't know better necessarily too. That's always a thing, and that's actually part of the innocence of youth. It's one thing I miss about my childhood is I don't think I'd be as cynical about video games if I just didn't know any better. It's so much like life is so much better when you just don't know better, right? Like, I don't know. That's probably why I enjoyed video games so much as a child. Is who cares? Like, people could say what they want. I don't know any better, so who gives a crap? I just know what I'm enjoying at that time. That's like when people used to argue about Perfect Dark versus GoldenEye, and I'd always argue that GoldenEye was better because I didn't play Perfect Dark back then. I have played it now, but I didn't play it back then, so I would always be like, no, it can't be better than GoldenEye. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's pretty good. It actually is pretty good in hindsight, but it's one of those things that, like, I didn't know any better, so of course nothing was blasphemous for someone to tell me that Perfect Dark was better than GoldenEye. But that's the thing of youth, you know, when you're blissfully unaware, everything just feels better than maybe it actually is. Let's see here. Like, I have a feeling like when my kids grow up, my oldest son's going to be like, Kirby Star Allies is going to end up being one of his favorite Kirby games he brings up all the time. Because it's like the game that made him fall in love with Kirby. Because now he keeps asking me when the next Kirby game is coming. I should probably get him some for his 2DS. Because since he likes it so much. And I think I can find them for pretty cheap at a used game shop. See, Red Chaos 177 means I got used to seeing Wii U ports. It just makes sense that the Nintendo is moving from Wii U by porting to the Switch. I can agree with that. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, that's another one. Thank you, Corey Bohm, for bringing up Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That's another game that just is buried on Wii U that so many people didn't get a chance to play. Granted, I think the name itself doesn't lend itself well. The Shin Megami X Fire Emblem crossover, when it was just called that, like that was a lot more hype driving than the actual final name. But man, that's a high quality game that a lot of people, even on Wii U, even Wii U owners, kind of missed the boat on Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Let's see here. All right, scroll down a little bit here. Kind of skipping with some stuff in the chat because we got like 70 plus people watching right now. So the chat I know is moving really, really quick here. Let me see here. Some people want to play the games on the current Nintendo hardware. Heck, overall, I bought Hyrule Warriors 3 times, counting Switch. I want the big JRPGs that are stuck on Wii U. Yeah, I can agree on that. And Hyrule Warriors, I didn't buy Hyrule Warriors for Switch because I got angry. When they released the 3DS version, Hyrule Warrior Legends, I think it was called, and they had exclusive content to the 3DS version they weren't bringing to Wii U, but we could still get all the characters on. No. I was praising how they handled DLC in Hyrule Warriors when it was just a Wii U game. Then when they did the 3DS thing, I'm like, nope, this is dumb. Granted, all the content's together on Switch, and if you didn't buy it the first 2 times around, yes, the Switch version is the one to get, but still, it's just, man. I mean, the thing is, it's a nice game. If you like Musou games at all and you like Zelda, you're going to love Hyrule Warriors. Just like if you love Fire Emblem and you love Musou games, the Fire Emblem Warriors game is actually pretty good. Some people don't think it's as good as Hyrule Warriors, but whatever. I think there's some things better in it than Hyrule Warriors. I think both games do certain aspects better than each other. I think the story is better in Hyrule Warriors, but I think the ability to play in 60 FPS on Fire Emblem Warriors is a game changer. So I love that aspect and that you even have that option. But to each their own. Let me see here. Amiibo Festival. I guess that was a Wii U game. Okay, maybe there's some Wii U games that could just stay on Wii U. Amiibo Festival is probably one that I think a lot of people would like to forget even exists. Can't believe that someone even brought up Amiibo Festival. Xenoblade Chronicles X, that's another one that'd be good to come over to Switch. Let me see, which Wii U ports from Nintendo in 2018 came out the same month as a new game? None. I don't think. I'm trying to think if one came out the same month as Kirby. Kirby Star Allies came out. Let's see here. Kirby Star Allies came out. I'm trying to see here. March 16th. When did Hyrule Warriors land? Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition release date. Nope, oh, sorry. I want the Switch release date. I was like 2014. No, I want the Switch. I guess Hyrule Warriors came out March 18th. So Hyrule Warriors came out March 18th, and Kirby Star Allies came out in March as well. So technically that was one. But the only reason I knew that is because I remember those games coming around the same time. So I think they actually came out the same day. So that's one example of the BitBlock of a Wii U port that also came out the same month, actually the same day as an actual exclusive to Switch. But I think your point there that you're trying to make is that they're using Wii U ports to replace new game releases, and I kind of disagree. In part because if the Wii U ports weren't there just wouldn't be a game. I don't think Nintendo had anything to put there in place of, like, get rid of all the Wii U ports the last 2 years, and then what would, in 2017 it still would have felt okay. But think about it, there wouldn't have been a major game landing in April. When Mario Kart 8 Deluxe landed, there just wouldn't be a game there. There wouldn't have been anything until ARMS. So what you have to remember is just because you get rid of the Wii U ports doesn't suddenly mean there's a new game popping up to replace that release slot. There just wouldn't have been a game. So for people who didn't own Wii U, what it does is it gives them even more content to play, and excellent content. And the BitBlock, don't come at me and tell me you don't like the games on Wii U. I know you liked a lot of those Wii U games. And there's probably many Wii U games that aren't on Switch that you like. You should want people to actually enjoy those games. Now, you don't have to care about people enjoying those games, but I do. Like Pikmin 3, I want everyone in the world to play Pikmin 3. Bring that over to Switch now, especially since I don't think Pikmin 4 exists. So bring Pikmin 3 over and let people play the hell out of that, man. Like, shh. People are complaining about wanting virtual console games. Bring the Wii U games over, man. Bring them all. Let people actually get a chance to play those games on a platform they actually want to play them on, rather than leaving them on a platform now that, yes, it is cheaper to buy the games and that platform, but, I mean, people like having their games all in one spot. That's why people are complaining about Virtual Console so much, is because they want all their games on one system. They don't want to have to swap between systems, and Wii U can't be taken with you. Although, you can do off TV mode, so you can like plug your Wii U like into your kitchen and then go to your bathroom and bring your tablet with and play while you're on the John, I guess, if you really want. I'm not gonna deny I did do that, but like back in the Wii U days. I had a little 2-bedroom apartment. I used to put the Wii U plugged in the kitchen by the toaster, and then I could take the gamepad all over my little 2-bedroom apartment. That is something I used to do back in the day, but it's way more convenient with my Switch, because then if I go outside or wherever, I can just bring the Switch with me. And I know, like, I don't know. I think for you, Josh, you didn't care about the portable aspects of Switch. That's not something you really care about, but it is something I care about as a parent of 3 that basically games probably 70% of the time portably. When I'm not gaming portably is when I'm live streaming or recording footage for the channel, just because I'm always around my kids and they're using the TV, or my fiance's using the TV, or I'm doing activities, or like I have my kids doing an art project and I don't want to like walk into a completely different room and ignore them. So that's kind of just the thing that I deal with anyways. Let me scroll down here. See what some other people are saying. Yoshi's Woolly World Deluxe for Switch. That would be nice. Yeah, Yoshi's Woolly World was pretty good. Just like Kirby's Epic Yarn back on Wii was really good. I would like to see that come over too. A lot of people talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X and Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Super Mario Maker. Yep, Super Mario Maker or a Mario Maker 2. They could do like a Splatoon 2 and give us a sequel. That would be cool too. The Zelda HD games. I would like to see the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD packaged together for $60. But we all know they're just going to release them individually again for $60 because that's just what Nintendo does. But having them is better than not having them. Anyways, the BitBlog mentioned but quality is what I care about. Switch has a lot of really phoned-in basic releases from Nintendo. It's interesting, too, because when you say that, Josh, I agree that there's a few quality issues. But Mario Tennis Aces was better than what they did with Ultra Smash on Wii U. Super Mario Party is better than what they did with Mario Party 10 on Wii U. So, like, they might seem phoned in, but those IPs that we talk about being phoned in have been phoned in for a long time. And on Switch, we actually got some of the best releases, in my opinion, in those IPs in a while. Are those releases as good as it used to be back in the heyday of, like, N64 and GameCube? No, not even close. Or Wii even. Some of them had some good entries on Wii. But compared to last generation, it's a step up. They're better now than they were last gen. So it's hard for me. It's not hard for me to complain. I have complained. My Mario Tennis Aces review has some complaints about Mario Tennis Aces, but it's better than Ultra Smash. Then again, I think if you just go out and play actual tennis, it's better than Ultra Smash. But that's just me. Because at least you have weather. You have weather effects in real life. Let's see here. Scrolling on down, Sushi Strikers, we need a lot more system exclusives like that. Well, it wasn't even system exclusive. Sushi Strikers went to 3DS too. Sushi Strikers is actually a pretty good game, but I don't know if it was worth what they were charging for it, but it was a good game. If they would have knocked about $20 off the price, I think it would have did a lot better on Switch, but it's a good game. It is a good game, just maybe not for the price point they were trying to charge you for it. But I enjoyed Sushi Strikers. That demo, they have a free demo for people to try it if they want. It definitely felt like a game. That is the one game I feel like it's good, but it might have been better as a phone game. Does that make sense? Being able to tap and drag all over the screen to do all the sushi things is like the best way to play. That to me would have made a lot more sense on a phone. They probably should have did that instead of I won't say instead of Animal Crossing New Leaf or Dragalia Lost, but maybe instead of Super Mario Run, it might have made. I mean, don't get me wrong, Super Mario Run's actually pretty good on phones for what it is, anyways. But I think that for Nintendo's sake, they would have made a lot of money with a game like Sushi Strikers on phones. But maybe they were worried because it didn't have like a big Nintendo name in the title, and it was a new IP that maybe it wouldn't have done as well. Just put SNES and GBA emulators on a PSP and call it the Switch 2.0. Jeez. I mean, you could just do that on Switch and call it the Switch 2.0. There are people that do that. Let me see here. Just glancing at chat. I'm not going to be able to read everything. You guys are chatting like crazy. This is awesome. A good conversation we're having here. Two Holmes is in. What's up, Two Holmes? Especially since most people never played them. Then he says, I never really played much Wii U to me, so these are fantastic. And that's kind of my thing, is like, I'm thinking of the people that aren't me. Like, for me, these Wii U games, I'm like, I don't care about. But of one, I really like indie titles. So there was plenty of indie games for me to play last year. So that, that kind of filled the gaps for me. But yeah, I honestly care about people getting to play these Wii U games, because I'm not selfish that way. Like, I played a lot of these games on Wii U, but I know, like, of the 78 people watching right now, I'm sure 70 of you didn't get to play these games on Wii U. So, like, it would be sweet for you guys to get the chance to play them. Granted, I don't think they should be $60 a pop, but hey, you know what? I'm glad that even though it's a worse version of the game, that people get to play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Keep holding this up, because it's like the only Wii U port I have that I personally own. All my other Wii U games that I have up there in the corner that you guys can't see, those are all new games or third-party games. Let's see here. Remember Zombie U? Zombie U is amazing on Wii U. They ported it to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One eventually, and that would be the version we would get on Switch if they ever brought it over. Because, it was built for the dual screen aspect, and you can't do that on Switch, really. So they would bring over the converted version. But I would still like to see it, because why not? Galactic Dunny, here we go. He's given an alternative opinion that kind of goes along with the BitBlock, because a lot of people have been saying, hey, yeah, bring the Wii U games over. He's saying, nah, screw Wii U games coming to Switch. I already played them all on the Wii. Well, you didn't play them on the Wii because the Wii U games didn't exist on the Wii. This is the problem with the Wii U's branding, is that people confuse it, Wii U and Wii. I know you meant Wii U, but it's still like, when you talk like that among a crowd of people that don't know what a Wii U is, you're just confusing them. And I'm not saying my crowd's confused, but a lot of consumers were, which is the entire point of bringing the Wii U games over. One of the reasons Wii U didn't sell well is because of the damn name. The damn name confused people. No one knew what was going on. So, anyways, so you've already played them, and you want the games that you wanted to play on your Wii U, and that's great. I'm glad you got to do that. But guess what? At least 15 plus million people on Switch didn't. And that's going to keep growing and keep growing. The bigger the Switch install base gets, the more amount of people never got a chance to play those games. So they should be given the chance to play those games. Now, granted, what I would rather have is like what we did with GameCube and have just full backwards compatibility. But I think we all understand that the Switch as a platform had almost zero shot at backwards compatibility because it's portable. So they weren't going to have a disk drive on there. So in lieu of having full backwards compatibility, re-releasing the games to me is awesome. Having these games, like, here's the thing. PlayStation 4 people want to play their PlayStation 3 games on their PlayStation 4. Xbox One people want to play their Xbox 360 games on their Xbox One. Well, guess what? A lot of people that own Switch want to play Wii U games on Switch, and there's no way to make it backwards compatible. So this is actually the best way for them to do it. I just wish they didn't charge full price, but you know, they're thinking the same way that I am, that there's all these people that these are new games for, so they're just going to bring them over as a cheap cash grab way, or a way to make revenue they thought they were going to make the games on Wii U on Switch. Back when, you guys remember when, you know, the late Satoru Iwata thought that Wii U was going to sell 100 million units? You guys remember that? He actually publicly stated that he thought Wii U was going to be a 100 million unit seller. Like, they thought, you want to talk about over projections. Everyone's worried about whether they're going to hit their 20 million Switch projection this year. How about that 100 million projection for Wii U? How'd they do there? That was a bit of a misfire. Watch Dogs and AC4. That would be nice. Some third-party ports. I wouldn't mind that. What was my favorite Wii U game? Gosh. I mean, it's hard to top Mario Maker just because of how awesome it was. But Pikmin 3 I know was my fiance's favorite. That and probably Super Mario 3D World was hers. Her two top games. Man, for me, you know, not counting Breath of the Wild since it was a dual release, because that's my favorite game of all time. So I count it for both platforms. Does that make sense? So like, and then I try not to talk about it when I'm talking about it, like Wii U specific games or Switch specific games. That's a cross generational game. I played so many games on Wii U. I mean, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was up there. Still up there. Hey, we got a $2 super chat from Matthew Campos that says, breaking the super chat ice. Who could top my donation? Not me today. Well, wait. I might be able to do a $3 super chat to myself. I think I got old $3 sitting on the PayPal. But yeah, let me see. Hyrule Warriors was really high for me. Probably right now of the games that haven't come over yet is Tokyo Mirage Sessions as one of my favorites on Wii U. And I really like the Wonderful 101. I'm a big Wonderful 101 guy. I love the hell out of that game. And that game, you know, hardly anyone played it. Even the people who owned a Wii U hardly played that game. So I don't know if that would even do well on Switch, but I don't care. That might be a game I'd buy again on Switch just because I really want to play it on the go. Let's see here. Hyrule Warriors on Switch was 60 FPS and only came out in March, Japan, because it came out in May. Yes, Hyrule Warriors was 60 FPS, but it did not run at 60 FPS. Hyrule Warriors on Switch frequently ran down in the 50s and high 40s, and if you played local co-op, you were lucky to hold 21 FPS per split screen. So, like, it wasn't great in that way. Was it playable? Of course it was playable. It was still good fun, but it actually ran better. This is something that people don't like to admit. It ran better on the new Nintendo 3DS. Not the 3DS. It ran like horse crap on the 3DS, but the new Nintendo 3DS held a higher frame rate on average than the Wii U version did. The Wii U version did not run well. Granted, Musou games don't run well on almost all platforms, But then Fire Emblem Warriors came out and it ran awesome on Switch. Both the 30 FPS and the 60 FPS modes are almost locked 60 and locked 30. They're not locked, but they're very dang close in how the performance runs. The performance of that game is way higher than Hyrule Warriors was. And I don't know why that's the case. I don't know what they figured out, but whatever they did, I hope they carry that over for all future Musou games, regardless of it being a Dynasty Warriors game or, you know, another One Piece one or whatever ones they do in the future. Yeah, because there was a One Piece Dynasty Warriors game before. That was a really good one, too. Well, I think it was on PlayStation 3. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I touched that one. One Piece is like one of the few animes I actually really like, so even still to this day. Let's see here. Hey, Eric Wolf topped Matthew Campos. $2.22. Beat that. Thank you for the stream again. Get ports for $45. That would be nice if they were about $45, right? I think that's a nice price. $40 to $45 I think is a fair price. But Nintendo's going to keep doing $60 because people keep buying it. So, yeah, as Javip says, you know, ports are fine, but the $60 price tag is a little... I mean, that's the thing. It's a little steep because it's not... They're treating it like it's another, say, Fire Emblem Three Houses coming out, right? They're treating it like it's that, but it's not. So that is something I wish they would change. Maybe call it like... maybe to differentiate it from a new release, you know, call it like a Nintendo Classic. Or like maybe a little branding on it says Wii U Classic or something. And then that would let people know that, okay, that's different than like a... You know, Fire Emblem Three Houses isn't a Wii U classic, but, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles X is, kind of thing. So that's why it's a little cheaper. Sonic Man the Best apparently just subscribed. I thought you were subscribed. Unless that's over. Was that on Twitch? Was that a resub on Twitch? I know sometimes Twitch... yeah, that was a resub over on Twitch. Shout out to some people on Twitch, too. We got Go With The Craig over there. TWDH71 is over there as well. And then obviously Sonic Man the Best, who re-upped his Twitch Prime sub to me. So thank you so much. The Go With The Craig over there said the direct is happening soon, like a month ago. Not sure it's happening soon. I think it's happening in February. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but ports can never hurt me. Hit me with 10 bits as well. My Prime account... who do I give you a friend update here on Twitch for you? I can't figure it out. It took me like 10 minutes to link your Amazon account. What are you trying to do? So you linked your Amazon Prime account. Who do I give you to a friend of... I don't know what you're talking about. Labo gave you paper cuts. They don't tell you that on the Labo advertising. Ignorance is bliss. It was free. Yeah, Twitch Prime subs are free. Yeah, that's good times. On the Wii Shop channel, double checking everything. Nice. All right. Let me go back to the chat over here. Are they really phoned in? I would disagree. Phoned in is what other companies do. The reboot of Metroid Prime 4 shows they don't phone in games. Sure. I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't know that I would... That's why I said I don't know that I call them phoned in when they're better than the last entries in those series, but... there are some phoned-in games out there. Battlefield 5 is a phoned-in game. Fallout 76 is a phoned-in game. These games aren't done. We don't care. Have them. Like, and they're not even like not done in the way Splatoon and ARMS was, where there's like an intention to them not being done at launch. Bad Latency hits us with $100 bits. Thank you so much, Bad Latency. I appreciate that $1 worth of bits over on Twitch. Thank you so much, and I think that makes you actually the #1 leader for bits for the month over there. So thanks a lot for that $1. So yeah, it's I don't know that phoned in is the right word, but there are companies that do phone it in. See, like ARMS and Splatoon were intentional because they're online multiplayer games. They wanted to keep trickling content out to keep people playing, whereas that's not really the excuse for Battlefield 5 or for Fallout 76. Like, that's not what they're doing. They're just bad games. Incomplete messes of games that didn't make deadline. Like, Battlefield 5 probably didn't... Battlefield 5 is what might have happened with Metroid Prime 4. If Nintendo would have just said, screw it, we already invested 2 years of money into developing this, let's just release what we got. That's what Battlefield 5 is. And I'm glad that Nintendo said, screw that. And Nintendo usually doesn't release games that are broken like that. You can talk about phoned in all you want on like Mario Party or Mario Tennis Aces or even Kirby if you want, but the games aren't broken messes. like some of the rest of the industry. I think some people just hold Nintendo to this like really high content standard, which I understand. That's fine. Sonic Man the Best is now hosting us over on Twitch. Thanks, man. I don't know if you have any viewers on your channel, but I always appreciate the host. All right, let me scroll down here. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash was phoned in. Yeah, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash was more like Battlefield 5. Granted, it wasn't broken, but there was like nothing. It was like a demo. Let's just be honest. Ultra Smash is a demo for Mario Tennis Aces, because Mario Tennis Aces' demo was better. It had more content than Ultra Smash. That's really embarrassing. Ultra Smash was just a mess. Four Swords Adventures multiplayer on Switch. There's one. There's a GameCube port, man. Talking about reaching back into the well to grab a port. All right. So we did a lot of talking about the Wii U stuff. Let's get into AAA third-party games on Switch. Now, I made that video about a week or two ago now. Hey, we got 1 bit over by Sonic Man the Best. Thanks, man. So I talked about Wii U ports. Or, I'm sorry, AAA games on Switch and how Nintendo doesn't need full AAA support. This isn't me talking about my personal wants and desires. I want full AAA support. I've said this 1,000 times. I want every game on Switch. I even want the Sony and Microsoft exclusive games on Switch. Like, I want Valve to bring over Half-Life 1 and 2 and Portal 1 and 2. And like, I want all these games on Switch. But reality is Switch is massively successful right now. It's breaking sales records. It's outpacing the PlayStation 4 in aggregated first 22 months of the market by 22% in just North America. We know it's about to pass PlayStation 4 in Japan. It's a huge success, and it doesn't have full AAA support. That was kind of the whole point of that piece is, hey, look, all of the numbers are saying, guess what? Like, you can want it, but it's selling anyway, so it doesn't really need it. Now, that being said, it doesn't need it for success and sales. What it could use them for, though, however, is to make us happy, to make the consumers happy. I like AAA games. I want Assassin's Creed on Switch, period. I don't care if it's Odyssey. I don't care if it's porting the Wii U version of Black Flag over. I don't care what it is. I want Assassin's Creed on Switch. Ezio Collection, bring it over. I want Assassin's Creed on Switch, and we don't have it. I want Watch Dogs 1 and 2 on Switch, and we don't have it. I want The Division 1 and 2. I want For Honor on, all those Ubisoft games. I want those on Switch. Even the EA stuff. I want the next Dragon Age game on Switch. It's not going to happen, but I want it to happen. I want Madden on Switch, not just NBA 2K. Heck, bring over NBA Live, even though I'd rather play the 2K version. I don't care. Like, I want full AAA support. I want all of Bethesda's games. Not sure about Fallout 76, but how about a Fallout game in general on Switch? How about the next Elder Scrolls game that's not going to come out for like 5 years on Switch? How about a port of Red Dead Redemption 2 on Switch? I mean, I don't think Switch can handle it, but whatever. Like, I want these games on Switch, but Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't know why that's not on Switch yet. I mean, hell, it's on Xbox 360. But I'm actually curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. Corey Bohm takes the lead because that $3 Canadian is higher than the $2.22 earlier. It's about $2.50 USD. So Corey Bohm now has the lead for the top super chat / donation for this stream. Using the old Canadian money to take that lead. He wants Ultra Smash wasn't Amiibo Festival. It wasn't Amiibo Festival, but Ultra Smash was the Amiibo Festival to Mario Tennis. It was bad. Amiibo Festival was horrible, right? Especially for Animal Crossing, like just horrible. But Ultra Smash was basically that, equal to the Mario Tennis series. Ultra Smash is an embarrassment of a Mario Tennis game. It is a demo that they charge you $60 for. Oh, Doom Eternal coming this year. That's a big one someone brought up. Doom Eternal, hopefully is day and date. We know we're getting Mortal Kombat 11. Right now, it's still day and date, at least in the West. Ferris Wheel Productions chimes in. Welcome, Ferris. Are you Joey Ferris, by the way, over from Twitter? I recognize the avatar and obviously the Ferris. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat, man. I follow your work. Been following it for a while. I know I only recently followed you on Twitter, but I've been actually following your work for a while. So thanks for stopping by the stream. It says, which comes out first, Metroid Prime 4 or Elder Scrolls 6? It'll be Metroid Prime 4. I don't think Elder Scrolls 6. You gotta remember, it's coming from Bethesda. So they just released Red Dead I'm sorry, not Red Dead Redemption 2. They just did the Fallout 76, and I think they have another game announced as well. I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to arrive for another 5 or 6 years. It's going to be a next-gen game that comes out in like 2023, 2024. And I think Metroid Prime 4 lands before that. I think Metroid Prime 4 hits us in 2021-ish, somewhere around there. Could be 2020, but that would be like a miracle. That would mean that Retro Studios has been working on it for at least 6 months, and I doubt that. So 2021, 2022, and I think we're a long ways from Elder Scrolls 6. That little teaser, I mean, for all we know, that was a little CGI thing they threw together, and they don't even have a working prototype of anything yet. Civ 6 desperately needs all the DLC expansions. That would be nice. Diablo 3 was really nice on Switch. It'd be nice to get the next Diablo. I know, not the phone game, but I'm talking about like an actual new Diablo game to be announced and come to Switch. Like, what third-party games? Like, here's the big thing. What third-party games do you guys want to see on Switch this year, next year, in the future? I mean, Elder Scrolls 6 is one I would love to see, and I think we have Elder Scrolls 5 and Skyrim, so why not? Although we got to see where Harbor's at and what that game is, because I still don't think we know what Elder Scrolls 6 really is, obviously, because it was just a tease at E3. It was a big tease. It's just nice to know they're making the game, because after they did the Elder Scrolls Online thing, everyone was wondering, like, oh man, are they just going to do this online stuff? Are we really ever going to get an Elder Scrolls 6? Ferris Wheel says, hey, I'm glad. I've been following you on Twitter for a while. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Yeah, I work hard. I try. Even on my weekends. Rage 2. There we go. There's one I was hoping was going to be on Switch when that got announced. Rage 2. That's a good one. Capcom needs to get their act together and port Resident Evil 2 Remake. That would be nice. That would be nice. I mean, we got the Resident Evil Revelations game, so why not the RE2 Remake? Cyberpunk 2022 from CD Projekt Red. All right. GTA 5. Kingdom Hearts 3 is one I really want to see. Brian, nice shout out for Kingdom Hearts. I would love to see that, not just like the remix collection, but also like Kingdom Hearts 3. Even if it's a late port, that would be nice. Streets of Rage 4. Nice. Yeah, Cyberpunk does look really good. I know there's always some controversy with that studio because they tweet out some dumb things sometimes, but the games themselves are always great. They haven't made a bad game yet. Shouldn't say that. Since they released The Witcher, they haven't made a bad game yet. Mortal Kombat with Labo compatibility. Can you imagine using that robot suit to be like Raiden or something? Like, oh, I'm the robot. Ah! And you're like pulling on these levers to fire electricity. Oh, that would be so funny. Divinity Original Sin. There we go. That's one that I think has a decent chance. After all, we did get Dragon's Dogma is one that's coming. I think, right? Is it Dragon's Dogma? I think it's called Dragon's Dogma. That one's the one that's coming. Divinity Original Sin is definitely one that kind of in that similar vein that could come. Metal Gear Solid and Castlevania ports. The Twin Snakes HD remastered from the GameCube on the Switch. Well, there's someone reaching into the well and drawing out another old school game. Leave it to Matthew Campos to pull out an old school third-party port. Why not? Labo Fatality. Labo Fatality. Rip open their face. Yeah, I don't know that Nintendo would support Labo functionality that way, but you know what? I mean, if it's got some sort of motion controls, someone could just customize it anyways. Just give me a GTA 5 so people can shut up about the Switch can't handle it. Okay, anyone that says the Switch can't handle Grand Theft Auto 5 are just, I don't want to say they're idiots, but they have zero understanding of technology. The Switch is faster than the CPU and the GPU inside the Xbox 360. It has more RAM than the Xbox 360. It can handle the Xbox 360 port of Grand Theft Auto 5 better than the Xbox 360 can. So the fact that that's a version that even exists tells you it can run on Switch. Now, will it run as well as it does on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One? Of course not. Or PC? Of course not. But it can run better than it did on last-gen hardware. So that's just them trolling and wanting to hate on Nintendo. It's got nothing to do with the actual capabilities of the Switch. Fallout New Vegas 10-year anniversary edition remastered might be good. Lime Lim busting out the Fallout New Vegas. Terra Enigma remaster. Oh, jeez. You guys are coming up with some great games I wasn't even thinking about. Ritual of the Night when it comes out, and the creator will make another Castlevania game. Zane. Yeah, dude, Zane, I know you're a big fan. You love every video I make. I got you, man. Mario Sunshine, Cubivore, Billy Hatcher, or popular GameCube games Lost in Time on the Switch. There's a lot of GameCube games that are kind of like the Wii U that a lot of people didn't get to play. That would be nice to have, either remastered or just ported. A new Bloodstained game. Yeah, I think I've heard that's in the work. Why don't we have any Assassin's Creed games? If you live in Japan, you have Assassin's Creed Odyssey through the streaming service. So it is on Switch through that, just not anywhere but Japan. But why don't we have any? I don't know. That's a good question for Ubisoft. Technically, none of them have been running on the engine that Switch supports. Switch supports the Mario plus Rabbids engine, which was the Snowdrop engine. And there hasn't been an Assassin's Creed game released yet that runs on Snowdrop. They all run on Anvil, and Anvil is not a very friendly engine. Anvil is it was great at the time, but it was always even on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, like Anvil had issues. But a lot of these games started development on Anvil, so they stayed on Anvil. There should eventually be Assassin's Creed games made for Snowdrop, and that should give it a chance to be on Switch, like natively. But again, they have other games coming out on Snowdrop, like The Division 2. The Division was made on Snowdrop, and they got The Division 2 coming, and that's not coming to Switch as far as we're aware. So I don't even know that it being on Snowdrop's a guarantee. You gotta remember, Switch is also limited hardware-wise. So like, there is how much are the developers willing to sacrifice the performance, resolution, or look of their games to run on Switch? And I don't know that a lot of developers are willing to do that. There are games that do make sense. Like, why hasn't Spyro Reignited been a game announced for Switch yet? Like, there's no excuse for that not to be able to work on Switch. But it hasn't even, there's been rumors, but there hasn't even been an announcement. F-Zero on Switch, Dead or Alive ports. You want to see more debates? Debates are fun, but they can only happen when it makes sense. Double Dash. Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, if we ever get that game, period, on any platform at this point. Final Fantasy VII. Oh, man. Mario and Rabbids runs on Snowdrop engine. Yep. I mentioned that myself. The only bad thing about The Division 2 on Switch is that Ubisoft will say it always needs to be online, and I'm fine with that. The Division is a kind of game, if you ever played the original Division, it's a kind of game that it is online. It's an online kind of game. It's multiplayer based. That's fine. I don't mind that. Just like Fortnite. Like, I don't mind that. You can have online-only games on the platform. That doesn't bother me. Just let me play it. And I have an Xbox One X, so I'll probably end up playing The Division 2 on the Xbox One X anyways. But it would just be nice to have that option on Switch. If Spyro isn't announced in the next Direct, we probably won't get it. That I can kind of agree on. I think a lot of the rumors around... I mean, you got to remember, why did we get the... I guess this hasn't been confirmed. This is more of a rumor. Why, the rumor out there on why we got the Crash Insane trilogy is because one rogue developer brought the game home on a weekend and ported one of the levels and brought it back and showed his bosses, and his bosses were like, oh, it can run on Switch. Cool, let's do it. It's like they weren't even considering Switch. So, and again, that's a rumor that hasn't been able to be corroborated, but man, it's if that's how it's going on Activision, I don't know that we're going to get anything else from Activision nor Blizzard, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, I know we got Diablo 3, but I mean, even Blizzard's having cutbacks on staff now, apparently. This is reportedly, I haven't reached out to any contacts I might have there to see how true it is, but the reports out there are that they're cutting back on staff and making the deadlines more tight. Basically, that Activision is kind of tightening the screws on Blizzard a little bit for some reason, even though Blizzard, I think, has been mostly really profitable over the years. But all right, let's get into the last thing I wanted to kind of bring up today. And that is gaming YouTubers. I don't think I've gone this live stream, I guess. But there hasn't been many live streams I've gone without someone complaining about another YouTuber. I made a video way early this morning at like 2 a.m. Talking about the Metroid Prime 4 stuff again. And just like how cool it is that Nintendo was transparent about that when many companies aren't transparent about what's happening with a major game. And I brought up Young a YouTuber I really enjoy, and there were people like in the comments mentioning that they don't like him, or that like he's a shill, or he's like bad, and that's fine. People are gonna, I have detractors of Nintendo Prime. If you just type like Nintendo Prime is a shill or Nintendo Prime is a fraud or something in YouTube, you're going to find a bunch of people, no, not a bunch, probably like a handful of people making videos about me that don't like me. And that's fine. But what I wanted to actually bring up is what are some of your biggest issues, either with what I do as a channel, what other gaming YouTubers do, and why, I actually just want to open discussion, I guess, on the issues you guys have with either specific gaming YouTubers or gaming YouTubers on the whole, with me, maybe how I handle my live streams, how I handle my content. Let's have an open and honest conversation about the issues you see with video game YouTubers as we're starting out 2019 here, because I honestly either want to explain some things to you guys that you don't understand about being a YouTuber, or what it's like doing this job, or if there's some like legit issues out there, let's address them. Let's talk about it. Talk about how maybe us as a channel can avoid having those kind of issues ourselves one day. And if I currently have issues, what are those issues that you have with my channel, and how do you think I can best rectify those issues? So let's talk about gaming YouTubers and your guys' problems with that. First, I got to give Zane Parker a shout out just for bringing up Star Tropics. Yeah, so it's a great game. I think Diablo 4 will come to Switch day one. We need to know that Diablo 4 is being made first. So, all right. Corey Bohm has our first comment about that's kind of related to YouTubers. And he says, we need more Nates on the Spawncast on a weekly basis. I did message John today. I DM'd him, letting him know. I said, hey, thanks for having me on last week. Just so you know, I'm available most Saturdays if you ever need to fill in or whatever. He knows, but he didn't invite me on today, so I don't, unless there's a late invite coming here in the next couple hours, I don't think I'm on Spawncast today. So, but yeah, that's that it would be cool to be on Spawncast more often. I just like talking to those guys. Take some serious brass to make a public statement that is tantamount to public humiliation. Yeah, talking about Nintendo. Jay Senator has a comment on Nintendo YouTubers. He says, the only thing I have a problem with is when YouTubers make gimmicky or dumb stories I don't care about, but then I just don't watch the video. Can you I mean, obviously not watching a video you care about, that's always something that like people should be doing. Because a lot of us will be like as an example, I'm tired of talking about the Nintendo Switch Mini, the Nintendo Switch Pro, the Nintendo Switch XL. We have no new information. There's nothing to really talk about, but people keep wanting me to talk about it. And people keep showing up to the videos in the thousands. And it's like, sometimes we just make content because people are showing up. Like, people keep wanting that kind of content. To me, it's a little bit uninspired, but sometimes we do it, admittedly for the views. That's not like something that doesn't exist on YouTube, especially those of us that are doing this for a living. Like, we have to worry about the views sometimes. So sometimes we do cover stories that we might not be the most passionate about. I'm not the most passionate about Mortal Kombat 11, but a lot of people like it. So I talk about the game because I know it interests my audience. But I'll always talk about it from a more, I guess, just more matter of fact with the news rather than talk about my opinions of the game, because fighting games aren't my cup of tea. So I don't think I have that I'm a good source for opinions on that kind of game. Let's see here. More betting challenges where Eric loses. We do as many betting challenges as we can currently, so I don't know about having more. Zane Parker says, how do you make many quality videos in such a quick fashion? It's not really that quick. One, I work from home, so that helps. But sometimes it's not quick. It takes hours. It's not, each video has 2 to 3 hours put into it. It's not something that's just, you turn on the camera and you're done. Like, that's not how it goes. There's multiple takes. There is a lot of fact-finding and research. That's a big time sink. The editing, the rendering, the waiting for YouTube to do its thing. Like, there's thumbnail creation, thinking of a good title, blah, 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 fact-checking your sources. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's just this is my job. I do YouTube for a living, and as it's my job, part of it being your job is being dedicated enough to do what it takes to make a quality video. Now, do I think my videos actually are quality? No, but I think they're better than they used to be, and I think I continue to keep getting better as the months and the days wear on. So that's always my goal, is to keep improving. And that also means improving in like the mistakes I make too. I make mistakes. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, but like I've made some gaffes. I've had some misspeaks. I've said some untrue things that I forgot to fully fact check. Like, it happens. And I'm not the most knowledgeable about every single thing with Nintendo. I'm not. I know that. But I try. Let's see here. Let me before I get to more, let me check what people are saying over on Twitch over there. We have Bad Latency talking about Ultra Smash was clearly meant to be aces, but they rushed the game. Okay. Give it the same level of third-party support as 3DS had. And Switch is kind of getting that. We got Yokai Watch 4 coming. We have there's an Ace Attorney game confirmed for it. So a lot of the 3DS support is starting to now swing towards... there's probably a Monster Hunter game in development for Switch right now. A lot of that third-party support is starting to swing over. That was on 3DS. Let me see here. Broadcast with Labo compatibility. Corey Bohm says, not to shill for another channel, but Spawncast is something people should check out. Spawncast is a good channel. I don't like everything he does, but I like a lot of the content he does. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have too many complaints over what he does in general. I'm not a big fan of like his news wave, but I like Tech Wave a lot. So, no, I think it's just to each their own on that kind of content. Just Cliff says he doesn't like Black Bond and how he belittles other gamers for reasons such as games they play. I think that's I think that goes beyond YouTube though. I'm not gonna be like I'm the biggest Black Bond fan. If you guys remember, like over a year ago, I made a video about Black Bond responding to a video he made about Switch, and he ended up making a response to that video. And he was, to Black Bond's credit, he was pretty respectful towards me. I think we even follow each other on Twitter, so he wasn't. He didn't come at me like belittling me as a gamer or anything, like I know he's done to others. But what I do think happens in gaming is people have these opinions that the games they play make them more important than people who play other games, and it's an attitude that I hate. Like, say your favorite game on Switch is Carnival games, right? Say you have 300 plus hours in Carnival games. Who am I to say I'm a better gamer than you because the only game I have close to that amount of time in is NBA 2K18 and Breath of the Wild? Like, who am I to say that I'm a better gamer than you because I play different games than you do? That's a dumb statement to me. Even on something like that might seem silly, that someone's favorite game to play on the Switch might be Carnival games or Just Dance or something. Like, who cares? Who am I to tell you what games you should be enjoying and you should be playing? Like, no. If they like those games a lot, by all means, play them. And I just hate that attitude. It's an issue across all of gaming. It's not just a PlayStation and Xbox thing or a PC gamer thing. It happens with Nintendo fans too. It's an issue in gaming. I think goes well beyond YouTube. And I think what Black Bond is kind of a reminder that issue actually exists if people happen to be in a crowd where that issue doesn't exist. Like on my channel, I don't think that's a really big issue. I think for the most part, everyone is pretty respectful of the kind of games that other people play on my channel for the most part. But I've even seen it. I've seen it in a live stream. I've seen some people arguing over, whether they're a real gamer or not because of the games they play. And it's like this. It's a dumb argument. Do you play video games? Yes. Ergo, if you want to identify as a gamer and you play video games, it doesn't matter what the game is. I don't care if it's Candy Crush on your phone. You're a gamer. It's a game. You don't have to like it, but it's a game. So, but some people hate me for that opinion as well. Oh, it's a phone game, doesn't count. Again, I hate that argument. Why are we judging like people based on that? Who cares? Eric plays a hell of a lot of taps. Eric has played more Tap Sports Baseball than he's played Breath of the Wild. Does that make him not a gamer? No, Tap Sports Baseball is a game. You just don't have to like it. It's fine. Like, that's such a dumb. Oh, I hate that touting that you're superior because of the games you play or the platforms you play on. It's so stupid. It is such a fanboyistic, hardcore gaming elitism that I freaking hate. It is one of the worst parts of the video game fandom. Like, not even like the media, the fandom. It is one of the worst parts of video game fandom. It is just how we belittle other people for the kind of games and the platforms they play on. Like, it's so stupid. I've made several videos on this back in 2017 and I think early 2018 on this. Tetris Blitz. Sorry, I had a text. I don't think that happens in video games. You have a problem with YouTubers being hypersensitive about criticism in regards to their content. Yeah, I can see how that's a problem. I think what happens, it's like with any job someone has or anything they're creating out of passion. When someone's critical of something that you're doing for the love of it, or you're doing because it's your job, or you're doing it for a combination of both like I do, it's hard to hear criticism over something that you put so much of your time and your effort into, and your care and your passion. It's hard to hear criticism because you know you're trying so hard. It's hard to admit you can be better. Thankfully, I'm the kind of person that thinks my stuff is garbage, and nobody's going to be harsher on my content than me. So even Gamesta calling me a fraud, like, I'm not a fraud. I don't think I'm a fraud at all, but I am pretty harsh on my content. So it's just I think it's just an issue that's human nature. It's hard for people to criticize you about something that you're only doing because you love doing it. It's tough. It's tough to accept that criticism and try to become better. Some people are better at accepting it than others, but a lot of YouTubers, gaming in particular, have a problem with accepting the criticism. I'll give you an example, and this isn't to call anyone out in particular, and I'm only saying this because I know he can handle it. Player Essence. If you ever call Player Essence a shill, instead of him examining what maybe he's doing to give off that impression, he'll make a zillion arguments about how he's not a shill. And that's fine. I don't actually think Player Essence is a shill. But when people have that general opinion of you, you sometimes have to do some self-reflection on what you are doing and what you could do better to maybe not come across that way. And sometimes I think people just aren't willing to self-reflect like that. Even me in the moment, like, I might passionately, vehemently disagree with someone, but then later that night as I'm laying in bed trying to fall asleep, I'll start thinking about, well, did they have a point? Is there something I could do to, did I do something that maybe gave off that impression, and what can I do to make sure that impression isn't there in the future? And I don't know how people are wired and how they deal with that. So it's hard for me to speak for other people, but it's just it's a tough thing for YouTubers to deal with sometimes, is criticism of something they work so hard on, because they're not really willing to hear it. Does that make sense? Or willing to consider it. Even if the criticism isn't true 100%, there's still something that's giving off the impression of it being true, as I just mentioned in my example. Do I collect physical games or retro games and other video game memorabilia? Not really. I mean, I have some video game memorabilia back there, but that's just stuff I've gotten over the years. I don't go out of my way to collect things. No, I meant it happens in all entertainment, not just video games. Yeah, it does happen all the time, man. Like a Netflix style streaming service, yeah. I was hoping that Nintendo would port their Virtual Boy to the 3DS Virtual Console. Heck, you were playing Resident Evil 2 on Steam, and I play other games on the Switch. Self-reflection's a hard thing to do, especially if the image on the other side terrifies you to look at it. That's the thing too, JM. Like, I have to self-reflect a lot because a lot of my self-reflection lately has been about doing this for a living. I have no doubts about my enjoyment of this and how much I love doing it, but there are serious doubts about my ability to do YouTube for a living right now, because I see the revenue daily. I see the last 2 weeks where YouTube's been screwing me. Oh my gosh, I've probably lost out on over $100 because YouTube has screwed me, absolutely screwed me on my viewership the last 2 weeks. Things not going to sub feeds on time, then going to sub feeds and disappearing off of sub feeds. Notifications not going out, or going out late, or not going out to as many people. I had several live streams a week ago not even get viewership because nobody knew they were live because it just wasn't working. It was broken. it's been hard the last couple weeks. I'm not going to sit here and be, woe is me, give me lots of money to make up for that crap. No. It's just reality of YouTube, and that makes you self-reflect a lot. Like, this is my job. I am reliant on that money. Having a couple weeks that are like that really hurts me when I'm living paycheck to paycheck and supporting a family. Is this an industry I want to keep trying to survive in? And I don't know if that's the case, and that's some self-reflection I have to do. Not about whether or not I love doing this, but whether or not I can afford to keep doing it. That's why I keep pushing that's why I push my Patreon so hard, because Patreon works outside of all of those parameters. It's not reliant on the viewership and all that stuff. What it's reliant upon is people wanting to support me. That's why patreon.com/Nintendo Prime, that's my path to not need to fret so much about YouTube being screwy for a couple weeks. But what are you going to do? Thankfully, yesterday was mostly left okay. We ended up getting about 13,000 views yesterday, which is good. Like, that's a good day for us. That's where we were at before YouTube started screwing with my channel. The problem is that my 2 videos on Metroid Prime that were doing so well yesterday, masterfully in the middle of the night, got removed off of my sub feed on my page. And viewership of those went from gaining a few hundred viewers per hour to, nope, you got 100 views in the last 12 hours. Why? Because they stopped sharing my video around. Why? Because it's broken, and YouTube knows it's broken. YouTube has contacted me and told me they are very sorry. And as I told them, as sorry as you are, it doesn't get me my viewership and my money back. You can be sorry. It doesn't make up for the money I lost. It doesn't make up for the viewership I lost. It doesn't make up for the momentum just being cold turkey stopped in the middle of a successful video. Like, it sucks. Because that's how the channel grows, too, is those videos getting out to more people. And having YouTube just stop it cold turkey because their dang bot on the back end is being screwy and just randomly blocking videos. It's just, so frustrating. But that's what Patreon, that's why Patreon. Like, patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. If you've ever super chatted me, like, please support on Patreon. Like, that works around all of this crap. Because there might be a stream in the future you want to super chat on that you might not get notified even exists. It's just what we have to deal with as creators. And can you imagine if that happened to a big creator that has several staff members that are reliant upon that money coming in, and all of a sudden just getting screwed out of thousands of dollars over a couple weeks, and that's like someone's salary right there. Like, thankfully, it's only just me. I mean, granted, my kids are affected by this too, but put it this way, if I end up having to sell Switch games in a couple months, my physical games, you'll know why. Because YouTube really, they screwed me over this month. But what are you going to do? That's the thing. You're reliant on someone else's platform working. So, again, that's what Patreon's for. So hopefully our Patreon continues to grow and we get up to like $800 or something on there. And then I can worry a hell of a lot less about YouTube screwing me as much. Unintentionally, by the way. YouTube told me this wasn't intentional. Like, I'm not targeted. I'm not hated by their algorithm. There's nothing I did to trigger their bot doing this. Their bot's doing it to a zillion channels right now. Their AI bot is on the fritz, and it's just going nuts on a zillion channels right now. Even Philip DeFranco has been having issues. It's something that I hope they can get fixed. It's hard because the AI bot is all self-learned. So it's at this point where, like, are they going to reset the bot? And then if they reset the bot, are we going to go back to dealing with all of my videos being demonetized? You know, I don't know what they're going to do to fix it. But you really need a new Nintendo Direct to get those viewers back up. News cycle hasn't helped. Yeah, news cycle doesn't help. But what also doesn't help is when I do get a good piece of news, like the Metroid stuff yesterday, and then I'm stopped cold turkey. 13,000 views. Could have been 15,000. Could have been 20. Today, we could have been over 20,000 views by now if those videos weren't stopped. So, even when we do get news, it doesn't matter. A Nintendo Direct dropping over the last 2 weeks wouldn't have mattered for my channel because my videos would have all been stopped or not shared. Stupid. So stupid. What are you going to do? Yeah, you just got to wait for YouTube to fix it. This is the biggest issue I think I've had with YouTube in my entire 2+ years of doing YouTube. is what's happening right now. This has never happened before, and now it's been happening for 2 weeks. That's why I'm afraid to release videos that I'm putting time into editing, and like even Prime Answers today. I'm afraid to release Prime Answers because what happens if no one's notified and the thing gets 100 views? Like, nothing you can really do, you know? You just keep pushing forward and wait for it to get fixed and hope it gets fixed. Yeah, Nintendo changing their policies obviously been a good thing, especially for covering their games out of directs. The AI bot got infected with the SJW virus. Maybe if you invited a few more YouTubers as guests to discuss various topics, that could be interesting. Yep, that's always a good thing. And something I've been... It's like you've been inside my brain and inside my contacts. I've been talking to a few people trying to maybe do some of these live streams where it's like a discussion with another YouTuber or something, another personality. Help drive interest both to their channel and to mine. Not like a spawn cast, necessarily. But... you know, just like a one-on-one kind of thing. Like it would have been nice, as an example, to try to line something up with the BitBlock for that Wii U discussion. I think it would be kind of cool. Because I think we both have a respect for each other, even though we disagree on the premise of the Wii U stuff. So, and who knows? Maybe I could appear on his channel for that discussion. And he can come to my channel for a different discussion. I don't know. Does Nintendo even let you upload gameplay? You could do gameplay or Let's Plays as long as you have commentary. I mean, you can upload it without commentary, but then you can't make money on it. So you can do it as long as you have commentary. Yes, you are allowed to do that. Nintendo UK with their indie presentation this week got smacked. It wasn't just the Nintendo. Yeah, well, yeah, Nintendo UK was the most affected. Nintendo UK, their indie presentation was had 26 views on it for like 4 hours. Oh. I mean, it's not like I'm going to feel bad for Nintendo. They're doing fine, but they're not reliant on YouTube revenue. But it's like, man, just an example of like a massive entity also getting hit by it. Maybe you could invite Patreon support to a call or video into a weekly or monthly podcast. So, Jay Senator, one of our, we have 2 specific things on Patreon. Well, let's go 3 technically. All patrons starting in February are going to be invited to a Google Hangout Q&A session. It will be live streamed publicly, but I won't be responding to the chat. I'll only be responding to the patrons that show up. They get to ask a question, and then I get to answer it. They get to like get a little say on it, like respond to that answer a bit, and then they can also do a follow-up question, and then I can respond. Then they get a little chance to respond. Then it rotates to the next patron, and we just keep rotating through the Google Hangout like that. That is something that is exclusive to all of our Patreon backers starting in February. And then there is a really high tier. This is a high tier. This is a $50 tier. Where if you're in that $50 tier, you get a Google Hangout session that I don't know if it's going to be live streamed or not. I'm not sure. It might not be a live stream one. But that Google Hangout session is basically where who's ever at that $50 tier or higher, we do have one tier higher than that, but that's for advertisers. They get to basically hang out with me for an hour or 2 and just talk. It doesn't have to be Q&A style. It's just talk about gaming, talk about life. It's just where I'm taking some time out of my life to spend it with them and just talk about whatever they happen to want to talk about. And it's just kind of a way to connect and build relationships and that kind of stuff. And that's at the $50 tier. So we kind of have some of that kind of stuff going on. We also have the $20 tier where people can be on an episode of the Nintendo Prime Podcast once per month. So, like Corey Bohm is an example. He's going to be on the next podcast. He's a $20 backer. That's going to be on our next episode of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. Not the one coming out Monday, but the one that comes out next week. Like next week. Like not the following Monday. I wonder if you're being throttled for discussing YouTube creator payment arrangement details. Not according to YouTube. They said that had nothing to do with it. So, hey man, when are you going to lose weight? Stop drinking soda. You know what? Mega Buddy. I actually am losing weight. I'm down about 18 pounds from when I started losing weight. So I'm down weight, but I'll still be drinking soda for a while. Sorry to disappoint you. Don't be so controversial anymore. YouTube will no longer recommend these types of videos. You can rant. What you can't do is Their policy change has to do with conspiracy theories for the most part. They do not want conspiracy theories on their platform. While it may not have shown on your sub feed, they were constantly showing up in the recommended section. So anyone who watches your content normally would have seen it listed there. Maybe. I watch a lot of content regularly that does not show up in my recommended, so that's not always true either. So that'll apply if we join Patreon before next month? Yes. Yes. If you join between now... Oh, geez. Scared me. If you join between now and the 1st, that will apply. Hold on for a second. I know you're still there. Okay. Oh man, I gotta go here, guys. I gotta go make some dinner for my kids. Your live streams never appear on the sub feed. Talking really dirty and had to mute himself. Oh yeah, I'm such a dirty talker. All right, I gotta go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for the support to all the people that sent super chats and stuff. I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.